She don't like her eggs all runny. She looks down her nose at money. She gets it on like the Easter bunny. She's my baby, I'm her honey. I'm never gonna let her go.
Cheryl mentioned that you're a writer.
I don't do that anymore.
Stuck for inspiration?
I'm stuck between wanting to do something and not wanting to do anything at all.
Hey, howdy, hey, awesome people of the internet, Wolfman47 here. So, originally today my plan was to look at the filmography of director Lynne Ramsey, because she's directed quite a few interesting films. Unfortunately, most of the films I have to buy or rent instead of watching it for free on streaming services, which is my preference. And when I usually do those Let's Talk versus videos, it's usually for a person that has made a significant impact on my life in terms of what things he or she has made or starred in that has kind of made a bit of an impact in how I see things and everything. So with a heavy heart, for this one I'm not going to go through all of her films, but I may do her films individually at a later date. But today we're going to talk about her latest film, which is Die My Love. So, as I said, this film's directed by Lynne Ramsey, written by her, alongside Edna Walsh and Alice Birch. It's based on the 2012 novel Die My Love by Ariana Hardwicks, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, starring Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson, alongside a supporting cast that includes Lakeith Steinfeld, Nick Nolte, and Sissy Spacek. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing those names correctly. I'm just reading it from a Wikipedia page. So this is a story about an unmarried couple, which is with the girl being Jennifer Lawrence, the guy being Robert Pattinson. So, and their characters are Grace and Jackson, respectively. They move into this childhood home of Jackson's in Montana, moving away from New York, and for a while, they kind of have a very sort of playful kind of relationship. Like they have playful sex. They do all sorts of playful, wonderful things. They eventually have a child, which for a while is unnamed, but we do get a name later on in the film. And during the period of time where the child is born, things start to take a slow turn for the worst, in which Jennifer Lawrence's character Grace starts developing mental health problems, sort of adjusting to new life, as well as the fact that Jackson decides to get a dog. As any new dog owner would know, as any dog owner or new dog owner would know, it can be particularly stressful because when you get a new dog, obviously they'll need to get used to the environment and everything, and she just wants nothing to do with the dog and just wants to focus on raising the child. Throughout the film, they are at odds with one another for a while. They fight, they bitch, they moan, they have angry sex, I guess you could call it, and all sorts of other things. And eventually, it gets to a point where we find out that Grace is developing a lot of mental health problems and needs that to be sorted out. The film is shot in a I think it's a 4.3 angle, so like a sort of box kind of shape, and it's got a decent amount of saturation with the image, implying that it's a very hot environment that they are in. I thought it was a very interesting film. I think it's the sort of film that you definitely will want to use to study mental health. Between this and Inside Out, I think Inside Out does a better job of mental health in terms of just trying to figure things out from inside the head, whereas this is just showing us a character that's basically developing signs of mental health that's quite serious and severe, whereas obviously in Inside Out they can go very serious and severe because it being a family friendly film. So yeah. So I think it's a nice film. And both Jennifer Lawrence and Rob Pattinson are very attractive people. Personally, I don't find Jennifer Lawrence that attractive personally, but I do like her sense of humor, her sass, her wit, and just not giving a shit about things and just wanting to just enjoy life being what she is. And Robert Pattinson, he's a handsome guy. Lots of girls and men into men will love him. He does. They both bear well in this film, and if you do fancy them both, you'll be satisfied. The rest of the acting cast play their parts well, and there are a few like disturbing moments. And although some people might be getting jumped by some parts in the film, I wouldn't exactly describe them as jump scares. They're more kind of parts that just come out of nowhere, and it's very unhinged and on the edge and everything. And if you're into those sorts of films where you just love characters that basically have the perfect life and then they go batshit crazy because things aren't going their way, then you're gonna love this film. Even though compared to If I Had Legs, I Kick You, this one feels like it could have gone much deeper than it did. If I Had Legs, I Kick You was just about the right amount of that. But yeah, it is what it is. And there is parts in the scene where in the film where we see this forest burning to the ground, and also this black guy who's got a helmet and everything. We do kind of get what's happening with those sorts of elements as the film goes on, but it's kind of left ambiguous for a while. We just have to left to interpretation until they actually get to that point. And then kind of towards the end, things get a little confusing because then it's kind of made out that Jennifer Lawrence's character gets released from this thing that she has to be admitted to, but then she apparently isn't, and then she starts seeing things and everything, and yeah, just goes a bit bonkers. But I like bonkers films, and this is definitely a very bonkers film. Now, in terms of what I'm gonna rate it, I did rate it quite highly on Letterboxd. Gave it 4.5 stars. But after thinking about it and going right to the nitty gritty of it, I think in terms of what films that these two have been in, I think this is definitely a much better film for Jennifer Lawrence because as I said, Jennifer Lawrence has a wicked sense of humor and can definitely portray characters that are very on edge, unhinged, and can definitely go crazy just like that. And Robert Pattinson, I've seen him in lots of dramatic roles already, and I think both of them have come a long way since appearing in Twilight, Harry Potter, and the Hunger Games, and the other big franchises that they've appeared in. They're definitely showing that they are sort of maturing and definitely taking on more dramatic roles than they have done in the past. And yeah, this is a black comedy drama. Just to clarify, it's not all serious. Even though I do feel that this is the sort of film that mental health students should be watching to get an understanding of it, because I'm not sure if it's like an accurate portrayal, but it certainly sure shows how it can play out. And there are even parts where Jennifer Lawrence's character, who is the one that portrays having the mental health problems, she kind of reminds me of one of my exes who kind of did this thing where things aren't going away and then she just runs away randomly for no reason, and then you find her in a little corner crying, and yeah. So I'm gonna give Die My Love, and this is like my actual review this time, not what I'd put on Letterboxd, because that's usually when I've literally just finished watching the film. I'm gonna give it a slightly lower 8 out of 10 because I think it's a good film. I don't think there's anything too wrong about it, but there are some things that may trigger you. There may be some things that make you jump all of a sudden. But it is what it is. So yeah. But yeah, that's what I've got to say about Die My Love. I hope to one day look at Lynne Ramsey's other films as well and talk about them, as well as other films starring Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson. I know I've previously talked about Mickey 17 for Robert Pattinson, but I hope to look at his other films as well that I've not already talked about, and likewise Jennifer Lawrence. And yeah. So yeah, that's what I've got to say about it. Love to hear what you think about the film, if you've seen it or not seen it, and so forth. And I should actually point out that when me and Clank Zoka and a friend of ours went to, that's not on YouTube, went to see this film, we went to a relaxed screening, which usually means, which for those of you who don't know, is when we watch a film but there's no trailers or adverts. It just goes straight into the film. No arguments or no ifs, no buts, or the rest of it. And I know I'm just quoting a certain prime minister when I said that. But yeah, love to hear what you think about Die My Love. Sound off in the comments below. Love to hear what you think about the film, what you like, what you don't like, what films you've seen of Robert Pattinson and Jennifer Lawrence in. Any other films directed by Lynne Ramsey that you've heard of and want to talk about. Love to hear it all. But other than that, thanks so much for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe if you can, please. If you're new to the channel, I do vlogs like this, usually every Thursday, but when I do reviews, hauls, and rants on live, it's during the weekend usually. And that's on various topics. Monday, Tuesdays, I do gameplay videos where I'm doing like a series of videos following along. That's basically just me playing a long game, and I'm alternating between 4 games at the moment. Every Wednesday I do a let's play video of a completely random game that I've either played previously or playing for the first time. Whether or not I return to them is up to me. So yep. And I do gameplay compilations as well. So yep, see you in the next one. Peace to you all. And remember, if you're in an unmarried relationship and things are really not working out for you, get out while you can. Don't make it get any worse, or just recognize the signs that if you're in a relationship that's really bad and you're so oblivious to how bad it is, then maybe sort of try and assess it and then get out of it where you can if it's honestly not working. So yeah, right. Toodles.